So when your kids get home, they race through the house, drop the backpack off wherever they want, and turn on their favorite cartoon. Most of us would think that the parental blocks that we put on our cable box as soon as we had it installed would prevent adult content from seeping into our shows, because most shows are rated now. But this just isn't true. A lot of networks now are not putting ratings on their shows so that your cable box is not able to block those programs. Sex, violence, and drugs are all underlying themes in some of very popular cartoon shows that are not properly rated. So like I said, your cable box is not able to block them. Before this speech ends, I will persuade you, the audience, that underlying adult themes that are sneaking more and more into our children's programs need to be screened by their parents. I know for a fact that this is something that every parent should do. I have 3 kids of my own, so it's hard not to get concerned over some of what is on television nowadays. And part of that is only because I know that I have my 3 kids that I have to sit down and watch what they're watching, especially their favorites. Because I found more and more often lately that some of those jokes that are inserted, my kids don't understand, but soon they will. And something like that is bound to repeat in class one day. Now, what I'm going to discuss with you today is which shows, some examples of some shows that cross the line, why it's such a big issue, why should you be concerned what your kids are not understanding, and how parents can protect their kids. Some shows, for example, are Cartoon Network's Ed, Edd and Eddy. Episode 35 of Oh, Ed 11. Episode 36, The Luck of the Ed, Ed Pass It On, and The Day That Ed Stood Still. All have this magazine, Jiggly Jiggly. Next slide, please. You see what they're reading right here, Jiggly Jiggly. And you can see also that there's tissue paper all around them and another magazine check. Now your kids probably won't understand that, but it crosses the line. Next slide. Get another one. His eyes are bugging out and he's looking at a fold-out magazine. Still inappropriate. Next slide. SpongeBob SquarePants, The Midlife Crustacean, Episode 3, air date January 24th, 2003, Nickelodeon Network. This is showing them doing a panty raid. Unfortunately, it ends up being Crab's mother's house, but still, panty raid in a show that most 5 and 6-year-olds love is absolutely unacceptable. Next slide. Another one, Rugrats. I'm sure all of us grew up on Rugrats. My kids love Rugrats, but I had to have them stop watching it after some pretty lewd comments were made, and they asked me why Grandpa has this video. Says, I rented you boys the movies, Reptar Come Home, Reptar Redux, and then he says, and my personal favorite, Lonely Space Victim. That's for after you boys go to bed. Sounded like a good movie to my 5-year-old. Unfortunately, I had to stop letting her watch Rugrats. My work cited for all the pictures that I've done. Like I said, Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon are what these shows, networks are on. Now, you may ask, why is this such an issue? Kids Health Organization says that the average American child will witness over 200,000 acts of violence on television by age 8. Kids may become desensitized to violence and more aggressive. TV violence sometimes begs imitation, because violence is often thought of as fun and a good way to get what they want. Another study by the RAND researchers surveyed over 1,700 adolescents aged 12 to 17 from across the nation, asking them about their television viewing habits and sexual behavior. The participants were followed up with a similar survey a year later. Researchers found that adolescents who watched the most television with sexual content were twice as likely to initiate sexual intercourse over the next year as adolescents who watched the least amount of TV with sexual content. So basically, those who watched sexual content, age 12 to 17, were twice as likely to commit sexual intercourse than those who didn't. Parent Television Council conducted a recent study also that included an expert commentary by PhD Deborah A. Fisher from the Pacific Institute for Research and Evaluation. Fisher states that children, on average, will be exposed to 1,000 murders, rapes, and assaults per year thanks to television. She warns that early exposure to television violence has consistently emerged as a significant predicator of later aggression. Fisher also describes other effects that viewing television violence has on children. Increased fear, anxiety, obsessive thoughts, and sleep disturbances. Now, we've talked about some examples of what shows your kids may be watching that have sexual content or inappropriate content. We've also talked about why it's such a problem. Now, as most parents know, there's no safe way to leave the room and have the television on and know that your child is going to be watching something that you feel absolutely comfortable with them watching or saying to somebody else later. So basically, the best thing you can do is watch what your kids watch. Sit down for an hour, watch what they're watching. If you can't do that, I know that Netflix has shows. If their favorite show is on Netflix, sit down, watch it. Make sure that there's nothing in there that you would be ashamed that they're watching or that they would say later. Use the parental controls on your cable box. Limit your children's television time. 2 hours a week is what is said by the Kids Health Organization is the most your child should be watching. Children under 3, they shouldn't be watching television at all because they learn the first 5 years the most. And also, basically, after 8 to 9 p.m., which is prime time television, adult content is all over the cable network. Any network, even basic cable, and especially Cartoon Network, turns into Adult Swim after 8 to 9 p.m. So make sure that your kids shut it off, or just eliminate Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon from the viewing. Now, remember, we've talked about some shows. We've talked about what the big issues are. We've talked about how kids can protect their children. Basically, in conclusion, the way your child views themselves, their peers, and even their reality depends largely on what activities they participate. That even includes sitting down to watch television. Instead of letting cartoon show behavior lead them to be irresponsible and have acts that they later regret, decide to show them responsible behavior by turning off the television. Thank you.